But I'm going to move on to the next thing. I think I'm going to stick with AEW. The next angle we got is Bryan Danielson and Nigel McGuinness, which was a weirdly cooked up match. I guess this was an old feud from, what was it, 2005 or something like that in Ring of Honor? 2006. They had a bunch of matches. 10 matches, right? And then suddenly now, since Bryan Danielson had a clear night on this Grand Slam, and he wasn't even cleared to fight maybe, but Nigel said, hey, since you're open, we should do this again because he's held this animosity in his heart for so long. It was hard to really, I mean, I went through the whole feud actually. Like I read about every single one of their matches. So when it got to this point, I was kind of like, okay, this is kind of cool. If you actually know the history of it, it is kind of cool. But it could have been better because it could have been built up better. Like they could have actually had promo battles and they could have like had a good video that recapped, you know, some of their matches. But instead, they kind of lazily on AEW's YouTube page just put all the matches there. They're like, here's 15 hours of matches. If you want to watch it, go ahead. You know, so that was tough. I didn't watch all of them. But regardless, here we are. Nigel's like, we don't even know if Danielson's showing up. There had never been one moment where Danielson even talked or said anything where if he was going to show up or not. They played his music, and he didn't come out. Right, Vlad? That was interesting.
Well, I don't understand. Like, doesn't anybody know if this guy is in the build? I've always hated this stuff because it makes no sense. Like, somebody must have seen this guy, right? Like, either the announcer's like, "Well, I haven't seen him." I'm like, dude, what the fuck are you guys talking about? Well, then if you haven't seen him, then he's not there. Okay.
Exactly, which is weird. And why would he not come out if he's here to defend the title? Like, you know. So, anyways, yeah, Nigel gets on the mic. He's like, I knew it. I knew he was going to be scared of me, and they were going to count him out, which I guess would have been a rematch for Nigel if they did actually count him out. But that's when the final countdown hits, right, Robert? So
yeah,
Danielson is here, and they played the music, which I can't play because I don't want us to get clipped for copyright just for that one fucking Survivor song. But anyways, so I'm not really going to go through the match. It was a decent match. There was a lot of chain wrestling, which I thought was a little strange. But to open the match, that one moment where they looked at each other and the crowd was going, some of the crowd was going, holy shit. There was a certain contingent in the crowd that watched Ring of Honor, I guess, and they were saying, holy shit, which I predicted that. Remember, guys, before on Twitter?
Yeah, you thought it was going to be the Hogan Rock.
It was like Hogan Rock. Yeah, anyways, I love this moment. I kind of love this. There was something beautiful about this. I gave it 2 thumbs up. I know you guys both gave it half a thumbs up, but you know what? What can I say? For this match, for the whole program, I give it a different rating. Their whole program was kind of weak here. But for this night, I can say that I thought this was kind of beautiful to end their story. And Nigel did tap out. He said thank you when he was tapping out. I thought he said fuck you at first, which I thought would have been better. I was like, oh, that's cool, you know, defiant till the last. But no, I guess he said thank you for giving me one last match. That was kind of a good moment for me. So Nigel McGuinness, he did his best, but I think he lasted like 20 minutes or something, and it was a loss. But all right, so I guess, Robert, I'll start with you. Anything you want to say about this? 90 seconds, you gave this a half a thumbs up on the Malapert Smark rating system.
Right.
I guess you kind of liked it. So.
Okay. So I didn't read up on their history like you did, and I haven't seen any of their previous matches from Ring of Honor. So I wasn't really...
And you shouldn't have to. You shouldn't have to, but go ahead.
Oh, okay. Well, so that being said, I wasn't really invested into this match to begin with. Now, the match was decent, but it wasn't what I guess, you know, when it comes to Bryan Danielson matching up with, I guess, one of his biggest rivals from the past, there's like a certain bar that's like, you know, I expect it to be like at this level, and it didn't quite get there for me. Yes, there was a lot of chain wrestling, but a lot of it for me didn't look that great. The transitions the transitions were very slow and sometimes sloppy.
I agree.
So I can't say I loved the match too much, but it was still decent enough for me to give it a half thumbs up.
All right, I'll reset the clock for Vlad. Any thoughts you got on this? You want to rail on it? You could talk about the whole program if you want, whatever you want to, or just
no. I just want to say that, like, you know, like, it's not our job. Like Robert said, like, you didn't all know the history. It's not our job. It's AEW's job to explain the history better to us, so we could actually care about this match. Like, I know a little bit about it, but I don't know enough about it to really have any deep emotion about this match, you know? So the match itself was kind of sloppy at times. I'm not saying, you know, that it's not to be expected, because obviously Nigel hasn't really wrestled in like what was it, like more than a decade, probably even more than that. So
yeah,
I mean, so it's to be expected that he has a ton of ring rust type of deal. But it was just, you know, it had some moments, but it really wasn't anything special. And at times it just really wasn't that great. Like said, even the chain wrestling, which these guys are supposed to be experts in, especially Bryan Danielson, it just didn't look that great. I don't know how else to say it. So, I mean, it was what it was. It was, I guess, a nice moment for some maybe diehard basement dwelling Ring of Honor fan.
Like Tony Khan, yeah, I guess.
Yeah,
the guy who I had read an article who summarized every single match that they had, which that guy, I guess, he lived it back in the days. He would get the tapes of Ring of Honor. So the guy that I read his article, he was real passionate about it. So that was a good article to read. It was hard to, like, because I don't have time. I'm doing this show, I'm producing the show, I'm watching wrestling. I don't have time to go back and read about 10 matches in detail, but I did it. I spent like a couple hours reading about this, I guess. So in the end, I knew about every match they had, and so I was filled in, and I liked it well enough. Okay, in a way, I don't disagree with Tony Khan using past rivalries from other promotions. I just disagree with the way he does it. I think he has a lot of money to hire these wrestlers. He could hire a guy if you gave me that footage and you gave me like a couple days, I could have come up with a decent video package to show you like what happened between them, at least, because they didn't do that at all. If they had one,
they did it a little bit, but
no, they didn't. No, they needed a good video package with good dramatic music. Okay, that's how. That's
like a WrestleMania video package.
Yes, if it had that type of video package, somebody like something like with really like holy singing, like
You're thinking like of an Undertaker. Some sort of Undertaker match.
Something like that. That's all like this
Shawn
needed.
Michaels or something.
That is literally all this needed.
Yeah.
If this had one video package like the show before and like right before the match, it would have been perfect. But okay.